welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic. Well, the first edition, this is the Masterclass edition, the one where I'm going to attempt to solve today's Times Cryptic crossword for you. Now, the eagle-eyed amongst you will realise that I'm on my laptop today, which has been a fairly constant theme of recent weeks. I am actually briefly away from home, so I'm hoping that this will work. You can see in the setup, I'm recording this in a slightly different software to usual, and it's enabled me to put the dictionary at the bottom of the screen. Now, this may all come to nothing and totally break everything, but I thought it was quite a good way of doing it, so we'll see if this works. Today's puzzle is by an old friend of mine, John Guiver, the man behind this year's grand final puzzle at the Times Crossword Championship. John is just an amazing cryptic clue writer. Oh, sorry, I just banged something there. That's not going to come out well on the recording. Let's have a look at the snitch and see what we shall see. Good grief. Okay, so Moan is John McCabe there, 4 minutes 50. That ought to be a real time. I mean, the next quickest is Matthew Marcus there, Verlaine, 7 minutes 43. So that is an incredible gap. I mean, that's like Usain Bolt running the 100 metres in 4 seconds or something, you know, and the next best in the world being a more normal time. Lily is Liam Hughes, phenomenal solver. I sat next to him in the audience of this year's Times Crossword Championship, and he would have been second to Mark had he been on the stage. He is a very, very gifted guy. Well, I mean, everybody after that is incredibly gifted as well, frankly. Anyway, so it's definitely not an easy puzzle, and I would expect nothing less. John's puzzles are always, they're always a struggle for the mere mortals of the world, and they are always a delight. Do I have any news for you to tell you about today? Let me just quickly think. I mean, the only thing I will mention, I mentioned it last week, and certainly Mark mentioned it last week. I think Mark covered last week's Friday Masterclass. Definitely, if you have some time, check out Peter Svidler's guest appearance on the channel from a couple of weeks ago or so. Peter solved a puzzle that Mark created. So Peter and I sort of did it together, and Peter Svidler, one of the world's greatest chess players, just an incredible personality. If you have any interest in sort of intellectuals and mind sports, you'll know Peter already. And it was such a great thrill for me to even be on the same screen as him. I can't tell you. Anyway, that's over. That's on the channel right now. Can't think what else I meant to mention. Check out Patreon. There's all sorts of extra content there. And let's get cracking on John's puzzle. I hope you'll be able to see this. Actually, what I should do, I'm just going to check my OBS to check it looks like. I think that looks good. I think it looks good. So let's go. 1 across, 7 letters. Difficult problem, learner assimilated by heart. Okay, so remember, all of these clues have they have a straightforward definition of the answer. So like a quick crossword definition, that's almost always at the start or the end of the clue. The rest of the clue is the recipe that tells us how to make the answer up, how to construct it out of different bits of other words or reversing words or anagramming words. So the most important skill, if you're coming to Cryptic Crosswords New, is to learn how to read the clues and how to split them into the quick crossword part and the recipe part. Now, here I don't quite know what the quick crossword part is. If I had to guess, I would say it was a difficult problem. The reason I think that might be true is that learner can be abbreviated. You'll all be familiar with learner drivers in cars. A learner driver, you have an L plate on, don't you? So it won't surprise you. Where's my dictionary gone? Hopefully this will work. I'm hoping this will just appear on OBS in sort of the middle bottom hand corner of the screen. But if we, yeah, there we go, learner. So this word learner here might be abbreviated to L in our recipe part of the clue, and that's being assimilated by a word for heart. Now, can we think of any 6-letter words for heart? Middle? difficult problem. Like, I want to say something like a stickler or a stumper or a difficult problem. It's a real, oh, I don't know. Let's see if we can get one down. 4 letters. Hard drinker served up moonshine. Hard drinker served up moonshine. Okay, I can do this one. So, again, we have to go through this process. That's always, as I'm reading these clues, that's the process I'm going through. I'm trying to work out what do I think the definition is. Here, the clue to the definition is the word hard, because if you've done a few of these puzzles, you might be familiar with hard being abbreviatable to H, and that's from lead pencils. You might have seen HB on your pencils, and that is because here, hard even says on lead pencils. So this use of hard by John in the clue makes me wonder whether this could be abbreviated to H, and if so, what part of the clue is it? It's got to be part of the recipe. So we've got H, drinker, served up. Well, this is a down clue. So if you serve a string of letters upwards, what would you do? You would reverse them. What was reading sort of downwards would read upwards. So we need a 3-letter word for a drinker, which goes with the H, and then we're going to serve that lot up to mean moonshine. Now, as usual with John's puzzles, they always have this beautiful surface reading, although this one, hard drinker served up moonshine, it sort of has a slight alcoholic tinge to it, doesn't it? But moonshine doesn't just mean sort of alcohol or hooch, it also means rubbish or tosh. And tosh, I think, must be the answer, because a sot is a drinker. It's a drunkard. Let's just have a look at that in the dictionary. Oh, it'd help if I typed in the right thing. Stay on tab as well, apparently. Sot, a habitual drunkard or a fool. So that is, I think, going to be correct. Now let's go back to this one then. Difficult problem. Okay. Yes, okay, I didn't really know this as a difficult problem, but I can well imagine it is. So now I've thought of the 6-letter word for the heart that I hadn't thought of before. If those of you familiar with Allo Allo may remember that the old man always referred to himself as having a dicky dicker. And so ticker, a ticker is a euphemism for your heart. I've talked about my love of Allo Allo before. I can't get involved in Allo Allo today. The video will never end. So a ticker with an L inside gives a tickler. Now I'm not changing that, so I am prepared to look it up. A tickler must be a difficult problem. A tickler. I thought that was Ken Dodd. Did he? No, I'm probably getting that wrong. A difficult problem. Literally, it's just written there. As well as a poker, a cane, or a device for reminding. So tickler. And now let's go for 2 down then. 7 letters. Appropriate to have unclosed trunk tossed outside Savoy. So it seems to be conjuring up an image of a hotel in London, a posh hotel in London, with the unclosed trunk tossed outside it. Forget all that. That is not going to help us. The images conjured up by the clues are almost certainly going to be misleading. Appropriate or appropriate to have unclosed trunk tossed outside. Savoy. I don't know. I mean, the only thing I'm thinking here is Savoy is a type of cabbage. If you appropriate, you do bag something. I'm going to put cabbage in. I don't quite know why it's cabbage. Why is it cabbage? If you appropriate something, you bag it. You sort of capture it. To have unclosed trunk. tossed outside. So CABE has to somehow be the tossing of an unclosed trunk. An unclosed trunk is like, your trunk is your torso, isn't it? But I mean, what that's got to do with anything, I don't know. Or a trunk could be a chest, an item of luggage. Oh. Appropriate. I don't know. Maybe it's not cabbage. I don't understand why it's cabbage. We'll bear in mind cabbage as a possible answer for 2 down. Let's have a look at 9 across. 7 letters. Sorry, 9 letters. What? Base can just be forming a foundation. Base can just be forming a foundation. I don't know. I want that to be sub something. I feel like it's an anagram. I keep thinking of subjugate. Why is my brain saying subjugate? That is a foundation. Base. The sort of the substance of something? Could it be substance? Can be forming a foundation. I like that B in 3rd position, but I don't understand the clue. When I first read it, I thought it might be an anagram. Because this word forming, if you form something, you mould it, don't you? You craft it. So if a series of letters were formed, I could see how they could be anagrammed. But it's very hard, at least for me, to see what the 9 letters are we're meant to be forming. Because remember, there shouldn't be anything superfluous in the clue. So you might say, oh, the phrase can, just, and be. That's 9 letters long. Sure, it is 9 letters long. But what's the word base doing in the clue then? Or what's the bit a foundation doing in the clue? There's not going to be anything superfluous in the clue, so it's got to make sense somehow. I don't think I know it. Let's try 3 down. 5 letters. Pounds advanced to secure leather and wool. Pounds advanced to secure leather and wool. This is going to be a type of wool, I think. Pounds can be abbreviated to L. Advanced, if you've ever sat an A level, you will know that advanced level is an A level, so A can be advanced. So I'm wondering if this is LA, securing, so capturing within an L and an A word for leather. And the whole thing might mean a type of wool. Well, how about llama? Because lamb, I think if you lamb something, you hit it very hard. And if you leather a cricket ball, unfortunately something our English cricketers have been failing to do, yeah, that might be to lamb. So llama. I mean, llama is obviously an animal, but I bet it's the wool of the animal as well. I think that must be right. Let's leave it in. We're going to commit to it and have a look. So lamb, not only is it the Book of Lamentations, it's to beat. Well, I think that can be to leather, can't it? Oh, lamb, yeah, that comes up sometimes, the US slang word for sort of running away or escaping. So llama, can it be the wool? Yeah, it's wool. There we go. So it's all good. Llama is going to be correct. Let's go to 4 down. 8 letters. Recheck less exposed, cracks in most piping. That's a brilliant clue. I mean, if I don't read it in my peculiar way when I'm trying to sort of understand and parse the clue, recheck less exposed cracks in most piping. It's just beautifully phrased. Recheck less exposed cracks in most piping. Piping, most piping would be hottest, wouldn't it? If food was at its most piping, it would be very, very hot. Reddest? Recheck? I don't know. Not sure. Let's try 11 across 6, 7. Oh, yeah, no, we're not going there. I've had quite enough 6-7ing recently. 1 or 2, perhaps, are reported to be aboard mobile air ambulance. 1 or 2, perhaps, are reported to be aboard mobile air ambulance. Some people email us to say, what does it mean if a clue contains numbers like this has got 1 or 2 in it? Sometimes it could be Roman numerals, although 2 being included makes me think that's probably not going to be right. Often it refers to the answer at those numbers. So but the thing is, 1 could be Tosh or Tickler. 2 would have to be, maybe this one's cabbage. 1 or 2, perhaps. I don't know, I like something numbers here. That feels like it might be. I quite like that as well. Can I create I can't create numbers from air ambulance, actually. I was wondering, most of the anagram fodder is there, but not the S. I can certainly get number. So what's going on here? 9, 12, we only need 1 more letter. I don't know, I'm not sure. Oh, if it was cabbage, what letter would I have? A here. Oh, Arabic? Arabic numeral? Ooh, that looks better, doesn't it, with air ambulance? Yeah, it's beautiful. Right, so it is. The definition part of this clue is 1 or 2, perhaps. Now, 1 or 2, those numbers, I don't know how else to describe them, are examples of Arabic numerals. And how does the recipe work? Well, this is evil. Are reported. What do you think that might mean? If you saw a text message with "Are you okay?" just the letter R, the letter U, and OK, everyone would know that the R there, the letter R, was doing the duty of the word ARE, wouldn't? And because they sound the same. And this word reported here, reported speech, something you hear. So it's a homophone. We need a homophone for the word R, A-R-E, that sounds the same as it, but is spelt differently. And that is just going to be that letter R. And we've put that in an anagram of air, or it could be that letter actually. One of these R's has been added to a mixture, the mobile nature of air ambulance. So mobile is telling us to anagram air ambulance, and we put the letter R aboard that anagram, so inside it. Now, the only bad thing about getting that answer is look at these checking letters. They're all terrible up to well, the M might be useful actually, because this is a phrase. Let's try this one. So 4-5 test match. International pilot heading for Chicago, entering course to the US. International could be a test match. Pilot heading for Chicago. Heading for Chicago. That must be the letter C, mustn't it? The heading letter of the word Chicago. I'm just going to put test match in. I don't know why it's this. Math. Oh, course. A course in the US might be math, as in mathematics. And obviously to the US, because in England we would refer to math as maths. So test, pilot. Yes, a pilot episode of a series is a test episode, isn't it? We'll run the pilot, see how it goes. So test match is correct. And now let's have a look at 10 across. So 5 letters. Number days before turning 18 at last. Yeah, that's lovely. Okay, so again, go through the exercise, try and practice yourself and decide for yourself before I tell you, where are we cutting this clue? Now, the way to get a handle on that is this phrase, at last. It is possible, I suppose, that this is a 5-letter word that means at last. But very, very often, if you get phrases within clues that seem to be indicating a certain letter, like, so 18 at last, what is that saying? It's saying, look at the word 18 and take its last letter. What is the last letter of the word 18? Now, if that is true, what's the definition? It's got to be the other side of the clue. So it's going to be number or number days before. Well, there aren't words that mean number days before, so it's going to be just number. Now, be careful with the word number, because if I read that differently, it could read as number, something that makes you numb. So it could be a drug like morphine or something like that. But it's not here. It is simply, we are looking for a number. How many numbers do you know that are 5 letters beginning with S? Probably not many. Sorry, I keep bashing that. But I think it's going to be 7. Not 6, 7, just 7. Actually, certainly in my top 5 films of all time, although one of the most deeply unpleasant films you will ever watch. Actually, what is the best psychological thriller? That is a question I can refer to you guys, and you will tell me, and you'll give me a brilliant answer to that. I'm going to offer up 2 possibilities. 7 is one of them, which I've found the ending to that completely awful, like haunting. I'm also going to slightly controversially go for Wolf Creek, which is probably the most deeply unpleasant and psychologically traumatic film. Wolf Creek, yeah, that it's too real. The guy in that, who apparently was some sort of Aussie soap star, sort of, which makes you think of like Neighbours and Home and Away. No. Anyway, Wolf Creek. Don't watch it unless you want to be terrified. Anyway, let's move swiftly on. Right, how does this work? So we've got 18 at last, that's going to be the N. And the days before something, well, we're heading up for Christmas Eve, aren't we? The days before are the eves. So we've got N and eves, we've got days before, eves, turning, reversing, so we get sevi, as in ballesteros, and then 18 at last, N. That's that N at the end. Now, can we get 7 down with this V and R in them now? 7 letters. Counter, inverse, maybe? Popular. Well, okay, we were very fortunate because we have got this, because that V and that R are in the clue already. The number of words that could possibly go in there is limited. And inverse looks very good. The counter of something is its inverse, it's sort of opposite. If something is popular, it is in. It's fashionable. So in, Bible passage, and that Bible passage is a verse. And we get inverse. No good checking letters from that, but never mind. Should we go for 5 down? Let's try this one. 6 letters. Thin fencing erected at field of flowers. Thin fencing. At field of flowers. Question mark. Well, question marks are difficult. We get a lot of questions on the channel. Can you explain the meaning of a question mark? The thing is, question marks don't just have one meaning in cryptic crossword clues. The most common meaning is probably a pun. What does that mean? It means that we have to read this phrase, field of flowers, and we have to stretch it. We have to think very laterally about it in terms of what it might mean. Okay, but I don't know I haven't got a good explanation for what that's going to mean. Let's try and look at the rest of the clue. Thin fencing erected. Well, that could mean, if we can think of a word for thin, and that fences a word for erected. Now, if something's erected, if a building has been erected, it is up, isn't it? So I'm wondering if we have to put... I mean, I don't think the U and the P could go anywhere like that, than that. That makes me think of lupins for flowers. Thin. Thin fencing, erected. A field of flowers. There can't be a word lupiny, can there? That cannot be a word. Field of flowers. Is John... I mean, if something is thin, is it liney? I think I'm stretching this to absolute maximum here. But imagine there was a word liney and it meant thin, you know, like a line. Then could there be a word lupiny? And that could be, you know, field of flowers. So it's not meaning a noun. It's not saying, oh, there's a field full of flowers. What do we call it? It's saying what's descriptive of the genre of flowers, of a type of flower. Those flowers are particularly lupiny. I mean, I do not know this word, and I'm certainly not happy to leave this in. I'm not looking it up. I'm going to look at the 5 across instead, which is 7 letters, and I'm prepared to not believe the L. But let's see. In club, drop short of ecstasy. In club, that makes me think, if you're in the club, colloquially, you're pregnant, aren't you? Drop shot of ecstasy. There's so many brilliant things going on with the wording of these clues. In club. No. I want this to be batting now. I mean, this clue is brilliant. I have been totally... I mean, my lupiny idea is total nonsense, I'm afraid. Okay, I know lupiny is wrong, but I do want to look up whether liney is a word. I'm pretty sure lupiny isn't, but let me just look up liney. Liney is a word. I mean, there cannot be a word. I'm not putting it... I've got it wrong if lupiny is in there. No, it's not there. Lupine. Lupine makes me think of Professor Lupin. Sort of... must be... I don't know. Anyway, let's move swiftly on. The reason this clue is difficult, 5 across, is that the definition is very, very, very difficult to spot, because what we've talked about is cutting the clue in the correct place. And as I read the clue, I read in club as possibly the definition, and in fact I was wrong. We have to cut it after the word in, and that's really difficult to do, isn't it? Because how can this be a 7-letter word that means in? And it is, and it's a cricket reference again. If you're in when you're playing cricket, what are you? You're batting, and batting is the answer to this clue. How does it work? A club is your bat, and a drop of something is a tinge of it, but the word tinge is shot of, it's got rid of, it's E, which is a valid abbreviation for ecstasy. A tab of E is something I have never done, but I am aware colloquially it exists. So tinge with no E gives ting. We add that to the bat, we get batting, and batting means in. In club, drop shot of ecstasy. It's a brilliant clue, honestly. And okay, so let's go back here. So bony would be thin. I quite like bony as an idea there. Botany. Oh, erected at. I wondered about at. Yeah, it's botany. Because what we've got going on here is thin is bony, fencing, surrounding. Erected at is saying this is a down clue. So if we erect something, we lift it. We lift the word at to give us TA in the middle. And if something's on the field of flowers scientifically is botany. That's very, very nice indeed. And I'm going to go straight and go far away from there and go to 8 down. So 10 letters. Greek, keeping isolated housing, touched up for posh people. Greek, keeping isolated housing, touched up for posh people. I haven't got a clue what that is. Gentle folk? That could be right, you know, because I bet Greek can be GK. I don't know why. I'm just going to put gentlefolk in there, which they feel like they might be posh people. So Greek, GK, keeping isolated housing touched up. Felt, good grief. Yeah, this is right. Right, okay. So the recipe here is brutal. Almost unsolvable, I would say. But we were lucky. We had some checking letters, and posh people, somehow gentlefolk popped in my brain. Why is it right? Well, you've got GK for Greek, keeping within it, isolated. If something is isolated, if something stands isolated, it stands lone or alone. And you can see LONE. And that houses, it puts up within it, it keeps within it, touched. If you touch something, you felt it. And all of that, so the lone surrounding the felt goes up in this down clue to give us whatever that gobbledygook is in the middle. But once we put the gobbledygook in GK, we get gentlefolk, which are going to be posh people. Very hard, but we've got it. Now let's not look at itself. This must be itself. 6 letters. Appeal against book supporter censoring hard subject reference. Subject reference would be itself. Appeal. Appeal in crosswords is so often the word it or SA. Because believe it or not, if we go to the dictionary and look at SA, we will find that SA is a valid abbreviation for sex appeal. And if you've got it is also a word that means sex appeal. There. So, appeal, it, against book supporter, which is a shelf, censoring, H for hard. We've already looked at why H can be a valid abbreviation for hard. So itself can go in. And let's go for 19 across, just because we've got interesting letters in it. Oh, it seems where I have now also has its own version of Maverick. I don't know if the microphone will pick that up, but there is a Maverick outside that window this time. Right, 19 across, 8 letters. Fabulous maiden having rejected frilly skirt this short. That's a brilliant service again. Fabulous maiden having rejected frilly skirt this short. It's going to be the name of a fabulous maiden, isn't it? Oh, and that's going to be asphodel. I think asphodel is a flower rather than having rejected frilly skirt this short. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Haven't got a clue. Let's go for 12 down. This would be such a useful one. We get 5 starting entries if we can get this. 10 letters. In local cast, see Belgian, who's dictionally informal. Who's dictionally informal? Who's dictionally informal? I mean, that's an extraordinary phrase. Who is dictionally informal? That suggests somebody who speaks in a slang way. Or maybe it's Belgian. Belgian who's dictionally informal. In which case it could be... Are there names for famous Belgians who were dictionally informal? Oh dear. In local cast. I mean, when I first read it, I thought it would be an anagram of in local somehow, because if those letters were cast around, they would be strewn everywhere, wouldn't they? And then C in crosswords, SEE, is very often Ely, which is because a C is somewhere with a cathedral, and Ely famously has a cathedral. So Belgian who's... I don't know. I just don't know. Let's go for 13 across and hope it's Las Vegas. So 3-5. Poor old Scandinavian receiving pardon. Receiving pardon. Poor old Scandinavian receiving pardon. If I was guessing, I would say this is a word or a phrase that means poor. And then we need the name of an old Scandinavian, or it could be O for old and then a Scandinavian, like Dane is what I'm thinking. But it could be Swede, it could be Norse maybe, Finn. Receiving a word for pardon. The only thing I've got there is if you say pardon, as in I didn't hear what you said, you might just go A. What do you say? And A can be spelt EH. So is it possible this has got EH in it? Maybe here, if this was cabbage and this was E, maybe that could be H. So poor. The needy? No. I don't know. Should we go for 14 down? 9 letters. Daughters wiped out by sedatives in possession. Okay. I don't know what this is, but daughter can be abbreviated to D. So daughters wiped out by sedatives makes me think, do I need a 10-letter word for some sedatives? Oh, hang on. Sedatives might be downers. That makes me think about ownerships or something. Hang on. Ownership. If something's hit. I think it's something like ownership. Ownership works, actually, doesn't it? Ownership does work. Yeah. So, ownership. Now, the way I got to that, I thought D might be for daughter. Sedatives are downers, drugs that make you more relaxed or something. So, that gives us owners, doesn't it? And if something's in, we've already looked at this, if something's in, it's fashionable, so it's hip. And that gives us ownership, which is certainly possession. Now, poor. Is this a T in 12 down? No, I don't know. No, that's too difficult, isn't it? Let's go for 17 across then. 6 letters. Key information, guided claims. Yeah, Now this one's doable. Again, what we've got to be so aware of here is bits of the clue that could, if necessary, be read as a recipe instruction. Because anything that indicates position of something is almost certainly recipe. Now, if you're looking at this clue and you're saying, oh, key, I've watched these masterclasses for ages and I know that key can be computer keys like tab or escape, or it could be musical keys like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You're quite right, and that is exactly the way you should be thinking. However, it's not going to help you here, unfortunately, because this is a 6-letter word for a key, and it's not a very easy 6-letter word, but there are 2 bits of crossword ease that we can rely on here. Information. If you see information in a cryptic crossword clue, 5 times out of 10, it is going to be the word gen. And this is only a word you'll ever find in cryptic crosswords, I believe. Gen, general information, the lowdown, the inside information. So that gen is information. Guided claims. Well, what that's saying is, can we now think of a 3-letter word that means guided? And that's going to claim, it's going to surround our short synonym for information. And looking at this N here, we can say it's quite likely we're looking at this. And a key is a legend, as in something that helps you to understand, what's going on in an atlas or something. Let's look at legend here, see what it says. Explanatory words. So it's in that sense that we're talking about a key. And led, obviously, for guided. Right, now we've got a starting letter for 18 down. 7 letters. Extremely slow golf amateur. Almost everyone stood up. Well, if you're an extremely slow golf amateur, you shouldn't be allowed to play. There, I've said it. No, it's one of my absolute pet hates, is slow golf. Extremely slow golf amateur. Almost everyone stood up. Extremely slow. It feels like it must be a musical reference if you're extremely slow. Golf amateur. Golf can be G from the International Radio Alphabet. So, Echo, Lima, Golf, Juliet or something. All of those are words that indicate a particular letter in the radio alphabet. G for golf. So G for golf might be that. So we're looking for extremely glacial. Glacial is extremely. It's going to be glacial. I've just got to work out why. If something moves extremely slowly, it moves glacially. Amateur. Laic. Gosh, yeah. So this is a difficult word. Again, that only comes up in crosswords. Laic for amateur. There we go. Laic. Lay. And that's lay as in sort of not a professional. There we go. Non-professional. So we've got laic for amateur. Almost everyone is almost all of the word all. Everyone would be all, A-double-L. We've got almost everyone, so we've got almost all of all, and that stood up. Because it's a down clue, we then reverse that to give glacial. Not easy, but we've done it. Now, let's go for 22 across, 13 letters. Doctor cutting tremor at emergency room with a large lozenge. Well, I like the idea that this is something like quadrilateral. It might not be, but the way I've got that is... Actually, that would give us a cue. This isn't a pangram, is it? I know John does like a pangram. There's not been any evidence of pangrammaticness yet, has there? But anyway, doctor. We've talked about this on the masterclasses before, but doctor can be it has so many abbreviations. So some of them, DR, GP, general practitioner, MO, medical officer. But what I was just wondering whether that we could put doctor, DR, in the doctor cutting. And then I was thinking, well, if that's true, the other side of the clue, is going to be the definition. So perhaps the word lozenge, question mark. And I'm pretty sure a lozenge, that's one of... actually, a quadrilateral. I used to refer to the things that you put in Trivial Pursuits cakes as lozenges. Were they not lozenges then? Maybe they weren't. But anyway, quadrilateral fits. Now why? Dr. DR. Cutting tremor at emergency room. Emergency room must be... Oh, emergency room is going to be ER, as in the medical show. Emergency room. With a large, A-L. So the A here is this word A in the clue. Large, if you saw it on a T-shirt label, you'd know it meant... if you saw L on a T-shirt label, you'd know it meant large. So, quail. Oh, quail. Yes, if you tremor at something, you quail at it, don't you? So, tremor, quail. At is A-T. Emergency room, ER. A-L for A large, and quadrilateral is right then. So now let's go back to this one. Oh, what is this? In local cast, see Belgian who's dictionally informal. Dictionally informal. Oh, this is some word. I think, what is this? Something quist? My brain's telling me I know this word, but unfortunately my brain is also not telling me the word, which is very duplicitous of my brain. In local, I don't know. If this was quist at the end, like ventriloquist, it's not ventriloquist, but something like that, this would be an I, and this would look like Irish, and it's got Dublin in the clue. So why is this Irish? 5 letters. Retired gentleman greeting hosts from Dublin. It's beautifully worded again, isn't it? It is Irish. It's a good one to practice this. So we were very sure it was Irish. But when you read the clue, to actually understand why it's Irish is really instructive. Retired gentleman. What's that saying? It's saying think of a word for gentleman, which is sir, S-I-R. And that word sir retires, it reverses. Greeting hosts. Well, here we've got a greeting is hi. If you said hi to somebody, that would be greeting them, wouldn't it? So greeting, hi, is hosting sir, and then the whole thing retires to give Irish from Dublin, question mark, being the definition. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if this was tea, I was just trying to think if I could think of the phrase that goes in, but I can't. So we're going to have to read the clue, which is probably always a good thing. 4-3. Probably missing middle notebook leaf. Probably missing middle notebook leaf. Lily pad. It must be lily pad. I think it is lily pad, as in that would be defined by leaf, wouldn't it? If something's probably going to happen, it's likely to happen. And if the word likely misses its middle, that's going to have to be its central 2 letters coming out. That gives lily. And then a notebook is a pad, as in an iPad, so it's sort of a computer reference. And then is it colloquially? Who's dictionary informal? It must be colloquial. Why is it that? Colloquial. I don't know. Let's try and work this out. So, in local cast. Okay, so that's just an anagram of local rather than in local. So inside an anagram of the word local, which looks like it's going to be L-O-C-A-L. We've got L-O-Q-U-I. Oh, Belgian who? Oh, that's brilliant. Right. See, well, if you see something, you might say, lo and behold. Lo means see. Belgian who is a reference to, if you are in Belgium, I mean, French is a language spoken in Belgium. So if you were to say who in French, you would go qui, Q-U-I. So that's how this breaks down. And the definition is dictionally informal, as in colloquial. That's really difficult, but very brilliant. So what is this then? So maybe it is O for old. Poor. One horse, a one-horse town. I like that. Norse. Yeah. So I think one horse, I've seen that before. It must be an American reference, isn't it? One horse. No, actually, okay. It's not an American reference, but it does mean poor or lacking amenities. And how does it break down? We'd almost got there, to be honest. O for old, Norse for the Scandinavian, and EH was A for the pardon. This still looks like cabbage then. Oof. Okay, let's move swiftly on. We'll have to come back to that. 21 down. 6 letters. Digitally extended. I'm immediately thinking about fingers and toes when it says digitally extended. I'm not thinking about analog and digital. I'm thinking about your digits, your fingers and toes. Digitally extended audio recording of Debussy. Lemaire. Audio recording. Claude. Oh, that's lovely. Claude Debussy. Claude is C-L-A-U-D-E, as in the name. But that's a homophone. If we were to listen to an audio recording of that word, it would sound identical to that word. And if you're Claude, you have got extended digits, as in talons or something. Beautiful. Absolutely brilliant. Digitally extended audio recording of Debussy. That is so clever. Ridiculous. 9 letters now. Beginning with W, though. Trying, Morris dancing, beset by calamity. That must be worrisome, I think. How are we getting there? Well, if something is trying, it's trying your patience, it's worrying you. So worrisome is a great definition. How does it work? Morris dancing. If the letters of Morris do a dance, they get anagrammed. And they are beset by, so they are surrounded by, a 3-letter word for calamity, which is a woe. As in, woe is me. So we've actually got a couple. We've got a couple quite quickly then for a change. Let's have a look at 23 down. 5 letters. Bit of a ladder must be rung. In stocking one could be regretting. Okay. Bit of a ladder in. I see again. The wording is so. I mean, it's easy now. We've got the R at the start and the I in that position. We can see the answer's likely to be ruing, as in regretting. But let's just admire how this is worded. Bit of a ladder in stocking one could be regretting. Well, that's in stockings. You do get ladders, don't you? So the wording of the clue is quite remarkable. But let's read it as a crossword clue now. Bit of a ladder is a rung. In stocking one. Well, if the word rung did stock within it the Roman numeral for the number 1, this I here, then you could get a word that means regretting, which is ruing. Now, do we go for this one? Let's go for it. 7 letters with this G in the 3rd position. Have workers for universities succeeded in imposing raise? Have workers for universities succeeded in imposing raise? I shouldn't have gone for this one. I don't have a clue what that's talking about. Let's go for 16 down. 8 letters. Wheeler dealer disposing of small island with a show of emotion. Wheeler dealer Disposing of small. Island with a show of emotion. Okay, haven't got this yet, but I think I know how it ends. Island can be abbreviated to I. Quite often in crosswords you see island, it's going to be man for the Isle of Man, but I don't think that's right here. I think that's going to be I there, with a. Okay, I'll put a at the end. So show of emotion, hysteria or something? Shyster, it's hysteria. A shyster is a wheeler dealer, it's a con man. Disposing of S for small. As in, if you saw S on a t-shirt label, we'd know it meant small. It's not actually in the dictionary. It's one of these weird ones that isn't in the dictionary but is still allowed by the Times. If we look under all these definitions of S, even in the modern chambers, you won't find small listed, which is a weird one. Let's go back to this one then. This is a chemical, isn't it? Oh no, fabulous maiden. Fabulous maiden, having rejected frilly skirt, this short. Hyphen? This must be the name of a sort of Greek maiden. Oh dear, I don't feel like this is my worst subject, the Greek myths, but fabulous maiden. Oh no, okay. Again, I get got by John here because I have not cut the clue in the correct position. So I'm trying to think of a fabulous maiden. What I should be doing is cutting the clue in a different position. If I cut it after the word fabulous, now it becomes doable. Because maiden, the cricket-minded among you will know that a maiden over in cricket, on a cricket scoreboard, is indicated by the letter M. Well, now this clue becomes easy. Fabulous, that fits in there. It must be mythical. I don't know why yet, but it must be. So maiden, having rejected frilly. Oh, that's so beautiful. I mean, this is I cannot tell you the skill that goes into writing clues like this. So the maiden, the M, has a word that means frilly, rejected. Now frilly is lacy. Skirt. Well, if something skirts something, it goes around it, doesn't it? This, short. Well, that's a shortened form of the word this, T-H-I. So you can see lacy going backwards around this short. At the end of M for maiden to give mythical, which means fabulous. Absolutely. Well, that clue is fabulous. Literally fabulous. Now, 7 down. Calzone pizza, maybe? 7 letters. Pizza toppings in Calabria acknowledge local region. Well, calzone is a type of pizza, and that is right, because the topping letters in the words Calabria, acknowledge, and local are C-A-L, and a 4-letter synonym for a region is a zone, and that gives us calzone. And we do get a Z. We've had a Q. Have we had a J or an X? No, but I was thinking this might have a J in it. So maybe we're looking for an X. Could there be an X in that one? I don't know whether to look at 20. I should look at 28, but I'm going to look at 24 down first. 4 letters. Capture minds by succeeding. Well, yes. Capture minds by succeeding. So I've been a bit lucky here. This Z made me really on Pangram watch. So I read this thinking, is there a way to put an X in it? And then I can do it. We've looked at this in previous masterclasses, but this word by does mean X. And that's from sort of times tables. If you said 3 by 4, what would you mean? 3 times 4. How would you indicate the times with an X? So we need a 3-letter word for capture, which is going to mind, it's going to have within it, it's going to cosset and look after an X, to give a word that means succeeding, Not too difficult now. If you're the succeeding, you're the next, aren't you? The next king, the succeeding king, and net for capture. And augment would work here. So 7 letters. Have workers for universities succeeded in imposing raise? Wow, okay, well, that's only solvable if you've got all the letters. That's what I'm going to allege is true. Okay, so here what we've got to do, if you've got workers, colloquially, will be men, the men on the job, the workers on the job. So we've got men, you can see, appearing in this answer. But the men have replaced, they've taken their for, so they are replacing U for university and S, which is a valid abbreviation for succeeded, in a 6-letter word which means imposing. And that word is august. So we need to think of the word august for imposing. We need to have men replace the second U and the S in that word to give augment, which means raise. Very hard indeed. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant the way that's worded again. But the only way really to get to that is by having all the letters. Now, this could be cabbage then, couldn't it? So if this was a B, let's just pop it in and look at this again. Base. It's going to have to be sub something, isn't it? Can just be forming a foundation. Oh, okay. Hang on, maybe this is an anagram then. I didn't think of this. I thought the word forming would have to be the anagram indicator. And when you read the clue, base seems to be being used as a noun, doesn't it? The base of something. But if you treat somebody in a base way, what do? You treat them meanly and unpleasantly. So I wonder whether base is being used as an anagram indicator here. So can just be is the 9-letter fodder we were looking at earlier. So sub, there's got to be a J there. Subjacent? That probably means something. Subjacent. Subjacent does fulfill the anagram fodder. It's not a word I know, but I know the word adjacent. So subjacent, yeah, if something's adjacent to something that's next to it, if something's subjacent, it's probably beneath it. I don't know enough Latin to know this, but let's look up subjacent. I'm not going to change it. Subjacent, underlying, from jacere, to lie in Latin. So subjacent is right, and I just misread the clue. This is going to be cabbage. I'm going to come back to this because I haven't got a clue why that's cabbage. I'm going to try and get this one. Okay, so 8 letters. Recheck. Re-edit? No. Recheck less exposed. Cracks in most piping. Recheck. What on earth? Recheck less exposed cracks in most piping. Oh, okay. Well, I've thought of the answer, I think. Reediest. A pipe would need a reed. So most I don't understand why. I'm just going to put reediest in. I think reediest feels right, but I don't understand it yet. Re-edit. Less exposed cracks. Recheck must be re-edit, mustn't it? Oh, less exposed. Good grief. Right. I mean, this is, again, I don't really blame myself for not solving this before. I don't think this is very easy, but I have now understood it. So to recheck is to re-edit something. And then less exposed. You've got to think of the word less as if it's got a coat on. So the L and the S, the start and the end letters of the word less, are sort of its coat. And if you expose the word less, you remove the skin, you remove the coat of the word. And that's just going to leave you with its middle bit, which is E and S. Sorry. So then we've got to put E and S, crack. That's this E, this S, cracking, re-edit. And that gives us a word which means most piping, reediest. And that must be a reference to music. The reediest song was the most piping. I mean, it's just not something I'm very au fait with, but it clearly is correct, isn't it? And then 2 down, it's going to be cabbage. I mean, but I don't know why. Appropriate bag to have unclosed trunk. Unclosed trunk. Is a caber a trunk? Like a trunk of a tree? It probably is. Tossing the caber in Scottish. In Scotland, if you toss the caber, you throw this massive tree trunk around. I mean, I'd be very good at that. No, I wouldn't. But if that's right, if caber, I mean, it must be right, I think. Now I've had the thought, it feels right. Caber, a heavy pole, generally the trimmed trunk of a tree. So we've got unclosed trunk, C-A-B-E, without the ending R. Tossed, trunk tossed. As in tossing the caber. So it's not saying anagram anything, reverse it. It's simply saying, think of a trunk that's tossed, the caber, unclose it, remove the R, put that outside, and that's why there's no reversal. I was looking for a reversal, and that probably is the puzzle, and it probably is a pangram with the J and the X, and the K, and the Q, and the W, and it is very beautiful indeed. And let's check, and yes. We're there. We've done it. That's great news. And it was very fine, as always, John. Loved it. Loved it. Now, I will try and redeem my slowness by having a quick look at the quick cryptic. I don't know. Hopefully this will be in the right place on the screen. I have to just assume it's by ASP. Refuse to vote or ban it as ordered is abstain. Gold-plated statuette. Must be Oscar. Why is that? I don't know why. Bill adopts line offering little hope. Don't know. Let's go for these downs. Check pub. Check barbaric, is it? Barbaric, maybe. That looks like assess. Yeah, it's in a hidden. A member of pack or crew card. Jack. Another pangram. Fisherman's position on river. Angle R. Crooked looking, superior eyed reported. Something boss eyed or something, I think. It's a bit of a homophone. Speaker's introduction was anxious and fearful. Scared? Cared, yeah. Monotonous sound extracted from monotonous instrument. Drum? A drone? Oh dear. Hang on, I should be able to just get that. Why can't I get it? Silly Simon. Bleak? Bill adopts bleak, yeah. Strong desire, lustrum, I think. That's a 5-year period. Noise, raspberry? Turn round bad press with little effort. Press with little effort is dab. Mock cod. State demanding no coverage. State demanding, no, I don't know what that is. Harbingers of death and distressing things overwhelming women. Don't know. Everyone among staff raised. That's dollar. Okay. Ring work about hotel porter bellboy. Feels like bellboy without checking it too much. Fish smelt. That's one of my favourite words. Catherine cycling to move around easily. I don't know. Coverage of the sun, including liberal in misguided pieces. I don't know. What is this drum then? Extracted humdrum? Yeah, I think it is. Drum is the definition there. Harbingers of death. I should be able to get that and can't. Laid around like this, very much in love. Besotted, I would think. Did that one. Captain Zone. Kipper? No. Who's out of it? Captain. Or maybe Bellboy was wrong. Oh, it is Kipper. Oh, bother. Bellboy is wrong. Bellhop. Bellhop is what that is. Okay. Former English MP. Last in Parliament. Not subject to tax. I'm going to go for exempt. If I could type it. Singer. Hosted. That's a bass or a bass. Soul. It's a reference to shoes. Nakedness is a state demanding no coverage. Catherine's cycling. Scath. Move round easily. I don't know. What's this? Ellipse? Eclipse? Coverage of the sun. Eclipse. Banshees is what they are going to be. And skate is what that is. Wow, that's clever. I think it's right. I didn't check many of the... I tried to just go as fast as I could. 16. Terrible. But there we go. A smidge under 4 minutes. Not quite the 2 minutes that John McCabe managed, but there we go. And thank you so much for watching. I hope this will become a video. I'm reliant on many things. OBS having worked. Internet speed here does seem to be very good, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get it live. Thank you very much for watching. If you do enjoy these videos, thanks for being with us this year. Do drop a like, do drop a comment. We enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And make sure you've hit the bell icon and subscribe, please. That would be a nice Christmas present to Mark and to me. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.